Yeah, well, part of it was a visit to the hospital, so
Sorry.
yeah, yeah. But everybody's good. Everybody's fine. Yep.
Everybody is fine except for America, Edwin.
Well, we got to talk about what's going on in my city. Ooh,
Oh,
really ugly, really ugly. Um,
Chicago is under siege.
yeah. Hello, everybody. Come on in, join us. We got a lot to talk about. And just to start, if you love Chicago, hit those hearts.
Yes.
Hit those hearts for this city, this great American city that is actually under siege now. And I'm Edwin Eisendrath, and this is Joe Walsh, who is all over the internet these days, telling
I'm just
everybody
following
what
you and
needs to
you.
be
I
told.
I follow you, Edwin. I just follow you on the internet.
Oh yeah. Which just means you've gone so far past me, you've lapped me, and you're coming behind again.
Um, Scary shit though in our city, your city of Chicago.
It's a show of excessive force. Um, it's also a set of photo ops. I mean, really, they spent the money to put ICE officials on boats and have them parade the Chicago River as if the Chicago River were the Rio Grande. Hint: look at a map. Like,
So in your mind, you're there. What's it like? I'm not in Chicago right now.
yeah,
How is the city reacting, Edwin?
I'm so proud of the city. First, that it's a combined. I want to say the federal effort is two things. It's a photo op sense of nonsense, but it is also truly dangerous.
Yes.
Today they, a few weeks ago they killed somebody, and today they injured somebody and was taken to the hospital. And a local alderman went to check on this person and to say to ICE, "Do you have any rights?" And they arrested her. And then there's video of it. She didn't
Saw
touch
that.
the ICE guys. They handcuffed her. They threw her out. This is well beyond, Joe, what anybody should be doing to an American city. And these guys are showing up in the gear they used last in urban warfare in Fallujah. They tear gassed a street, and they got a 2-year-old who was with their parents. Her parents coming home from school. I mean, this is cruel. It is un-American, and Trump isn't going to win. He does not know Chicago. He does not know this city. He does not know the heart in this city. We are not bowing down to him. We are getting tougher and angrier, and he wants us to riot. But we don't. We've been disciplined. We've been smart. We are showing up and taking video of them, and they look terrible. These guys. The violence is on their side, and America's going to see it.
Is everything continuing daily at Broadview?
Yes, absolutely. And, even the conservative Chicago Tribune today says that what's going on at Broadview looks an awful lot like a photo op for the president. They're peaceful demonstrators out there, and every so often off they shoot with their flashbangs and their smoke. So it looks like a war zone when there's peaceful protests out there. It's just BS all the way through if it weren't so dangerous.
So, can I talk about muskets for a moment?
Yes, please.
Back in 2016, before the 2016 election, I sent out an infamous tweet, the old Joe Walsh. I said, if Hillary Clinton wins, I'm grabbing my musket and I'm charging the White House. And the point I was making was I'm going to defend this country's freedoms, blah, blah, blah. I'll tell you what, and I got a lot of shit for that tweet, and that musket tweet made me famous. But today, Edwin, what happened in that Chicago apartment complex 2 nights ago, that is the very thing our founders rebelled against.
That's exactly right.
And our founders right now, if that happened, would be reaching for their muskets. An entire apartment complex, American citizens, doors smashed down, citizens thrown out onto the streets, detained for hours and utter unconstitutional, I mean, a violation of the Fourth Amendment like we've never seen. Our founders would be reaching for their muskets right now. The American people, I think, are too bored and distracted.
Well, our founders, I'm not sure I completely agree, and here's why. Our founders, you made a lot of mistakes, but they were pretty smart, really smart.
Yes.
And you know what they did from throughout the 1770s? They said to the king, stop doing the terrible things you're doing.
Yeah.
And they did everything possible to get that government to stop being a tyranny before they reached for their muskets.
Yes.
And we are in this period where armed rebellion is not where I am yet. And I don't want to get there. I want Americans to stand up for America. I want to do what our founders did first before they reached for their guns and said to their government, stop behaving like a tyrant. Stop behaving like a tyrant. I'm not confident that Donald Trump will ever hear that, but possibly Americans around the country will, and some of your former colleagues will back off because what they're seeing in Chicago is not what anybody is used to seeing in America.
So you're right in that I am probably quicker to grab my musket than you are. What though, prior to that, my friend, what can everybody listening to us and our the American people do right now to stop this shy of grabbing their muskets?
Well, we have to get. I mean, the only thing that will stop it is a change in government, and the change in government, isn't going to happen as fast enough as it needs to. But there can be a change in the way the current government behaves, and that depends on some Republicans. We need a few of them to see what's going on in Chicago and to be appalled, and to say, look, once again, your former colleagues have an off ramp, and God knows they've missed every off ramp for 8 years, 12 years, missed every single one that's been handed to them by this madman. This is an off ramp, an American city under attack by American governments.
So our listeners need to know, by the way, one of these days, you and I are going to do this Friday together. We will be face to face together. If I were with you right now, my older brother, I would slap you upside the head because
if you were with me right now, we'd be doing this at the neighborhood tavern and there'd be a beer. Don't seriously, it's Friday afternoon.
There are no reasonable Republicans right now that will stand up and do what you just said. Hakeem Jeffries, top Democrat in the House, 3 nights ago on MSNBC said, talking about the government shutdown, we are encouraging reasonable Republicans to work with us. Yeah. They're gone. There's no such thing anymore.
Wait, Joe, I'm not talking about the ones who are in Congress. Okay. The ones who are in Congress are craven. And but they're afraid of they're afraid of the people as much as they're afraid of Donald Trump and the people. Yes. I think the American people in Republican districts are going to see what's happening in an American city that many of them have been to. And they're going to go, what the F? This is not okay. Like, why is ICE patrolling in the Chicago River in front of Trump Tower? Why are they breaking into an apartment in 1 a.m, an apartment building, and throwing all of the residents on the street zip tied, including the children, by the way, including people who didn't have time to put their clothes on in the streets at night?
Edwin, an 82-year-old woman in that apartment complex looked out her window and saw a fucking Black Hawk helicopter.
Right. Black Hawk helicopters, flashbangs, all of the weapons that we used in Fallujah are here in Chicago. This is not okay. And so, Joe, I'm not talking about your former colleagues in Congress. I'm talking about people who voted for the guy. I'm talking about Republicans in America. This is a bridge too far for them, I think.
Well, and I agree with that. And I've said now for the last 4 months, I think this issue, more than tariffs, more than the economy, the cruelty of this issue, grabbing people off of the streets, will decimate Republicans politically next year. But Edwin, my friend, I'm going to throw in this one caveat. And again, I don't want to sound like a crazy man, assuming there are midterm elections.
I agree. But look, some context is needed. Joe Biden was slow to understand the immigration issue, but in his last year, he got it. And in 2024, Biden's last year, Do you know how many deportations there were in America?
Oh,
271,000, more than 250,000 deportations, all done without attacking American cities, without creating Christie Nome photo ops, right? Without any of this stuff. We just followed the law and did those deportations of people who weren't here legally. No one is saying we should have people who break the law, and we can do deportations. We don't have to break into apartment buildings in the middle of the night. We don't have to have Black Hawk helicopters circling my house. We don't have to have drones all over the city of Chicago. This is not okay.
Obama deported way more people than Trump did in each of his 2 terms.
Yeah.
Biden deported more on average than Trump is deporting right now. Edwin Eisendrath, you are correct. For Trump, it's all about the cameras and the videos and the cruelty.
Yeah.
Completely agree. And that's not what America is. And by the way, Obama and Biden focused on violent criminals who were here.
That's right.
And did it quietly. And Obama and Biden grabbed people when they were coming across the border. Trump is purposely doing what he's doing now, and I think Americans will recoil against it.
And to get to your other point, he's doing it to get us ready for these troops to be here during elections.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what scares me, because the most frightening piece of news this past week was Donald Trump 5 days ago, standing in front of 800 generals. And if I'm going too far, my friend, slap me. But he stood in front of them, and I think he was prepping them for orders to fire on American citizens down the road.
By the way, I agree with that, but I actually think that what's going on in those generals' heads was, okay, now I have some time to figure out how to say these orders are illegal, right? I was talking to the Atlantic's Tom Nichols earlier today.
Yeah, I love Tom.
I asked Tom, can you imagine a scenario, a Tiananmen Square scenario in the United States? And he thought about it. I mean, it was a question that took him by surprise. He said, no, they won't do it. They will, even if they fired all the JAG officers and there are no lawyers there to tell them, they will say these orders are illegal and they won't do them. And now I said to him, I think the same thing, but that's today. I'm not sure I'll think the same thing in a month, because they're doing these practice rounds every day.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm as confident as you and Tom, and I love Tom.
It's an important question, right?
Well, yeah, in fact, it's the only question, because we know the orders are coming. The question is, will the orders be followed at the command level? And
he gave the orders once. In his first term, he said, shoot the protesters in their legs.
Bingo.
He gave the order, and they said no.
He gave the order, and Mark Esper, the Secretary of Defense, said no, and the top generals said no.
Yeah.
But they have been removing some of these generals, removing some of these key people, and replacing them with loyalists. And by the way, Pete Hegseth is not Mark Esper. So Pete Hegseth will do whatever Trump tells him to do. So I'm not confident, Edwin, initially. And by the way, history. Our military has fired on American citizens before. I'm really frightened about what might be coming.
Yeah.
But your city, our city of Chicago, my friend, my God, every day there's something going on in that city.
It's terrible. But the people of Chicago, Joe, are fabulous. I mean, you know this. If you work downtown in Chicago and you're here through a winter, and you're here on a day when it's like 30 below and the weather's just terrible, you get in the elevator and nobody knows each other, and they all look at each other and they go, we survived this together. We are tough. Let's go to work today. I'll see you when we leave. You know what? Yeah. We're ready. They'd have to take us all out, and they can't. Right? They're doing terrible things to our fellow citizens, and we are people you wouldn't expect are going out of their houses and taking pictures of what's going on and talking about it. I mean, people who don't want anything to do with politics are saying this is not right.
This is not right. And this phrase, again, we've said it before. This is not who we are. This is not who we are. This is not what America is.
Right.
Every day that just drums through my head. This
And
is
you know
not who
what?
we are.
Your old party has made a career out of saying those people are
Yeah.
destroying our nation. They aren't us. They aren't us. And you know what? In this moment, they are showing America who they are. And you know what? The rest of America is going to agree with them finally and go, yeah, that isn't us. You've been that isn't you've made a point that you're not like everybody else. You're fighting for something and they're different. I am sorry. I'm on their side. You're on the wrong side of this.
Yeah, it's really interesting, Edwin. Look, you and I may disagree. My new political party, I think, ignored the issue of immigration for too damn long,
I
and the border
Yes.
for too damn long. And
Yes.
I think that issue really helped Trump get elected. But Trump now has taken it to such a dark, ugly, un-American, cruel, extreme place that again, if Democrats can focus, man, most Americans don't support what's going on now.
Yeah. Well, Chicago's focused. And again, I like the governor, the mayor, every elected official is doing on the Democratic side, at least, is doing the right things here. But
Are
that's not
there
where the energy is. The energy is
are,
in the streets with people.
are there, and maybe you don't know this, but are there any Republican elected officials, even state and local, in the state of Illinois who are also speaking out against it? I don't know.
I haven't heard that. I have heard a Republican who's running for governor, Darren Bailey, say it's about time the feds cleaned up Chicago. Right. I mean, just as a moron. He lost by like 1 billion points last time. He'll lose by 1.5 billion this time.
But Edwin, to that point, Darren Bailey,
Yeah.
that's my old guy. Like, and all of my old Tea Party supporters
Yeah.
who swore by the Constitution. Now they don't give a flying you know what if the government ignores the Constitution completely to go in and violate people's basic rights.
I actually care about it. Not that I got a prop for this, but it's on my desk.
Thank you.
It matters to me. I pay attention to it. Um, I actually wish the Supreme Court would read it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's Edwin. That's a fear because a lot of this stuff, the tariffs, a lot of what he's doing within this next year, it's all getting to the Supreme Court.
You know what? Making it legal doesn't make it right. And Americans are going to get that. And at some point, they're going to say, the president thinks it's okay to attack an American city. It's not. The Supreme Court is not legitimate anymore. I mean, that's a terrible place for our country to be.
Oh,
terrible place for our country to be. But it does offer us the chance to build a better future, when we jettison this crowd.
by the way, everybody listening, as you punch those hearts, this is why I love and can't stand Edwin Eisendrath. Because he's so much more optimistic than I am. And he talks me off my ledge, and I want to be on my ledge, but you
Yeah.
always talk me off of my ledge because you've got confidence that we can 2026, the American people are going to rise up against this stuff.
I do have confidence, but I want to tell you, it's the confidence that Dwight Eisenhower had after D-Day. He knew we were going to win, but that doesn't mean there aren't going to be terrible casualties, people hurt awfully. Terrible things are still going to happen. These people are not going, they are not going to stop until we've thrown them out, and they are hurting people. They're hurting people.
Oh my God, Edwin, the damage that's been done, the shutdown right now, the permanent layoffs that Trump's people are engaging in, the damage that Elon and Doge did, USAID, go right down the line. I don't know that we can recover from all that damage, even if we're successful in 26 and 28.
Well, it'll take a while. I mean, we recovered from the Great Depression, was terrible. We've recovered from terrible things, but we have to do it together. We have to do it in a different kind of way. I mean, this lawless crowd, the idea that the out of office message from the people who've been furloughed says this is the Democrats' fault in a clear violation of the Hatch Act, and Pam Bondi, who supposedly there because I don't know, the rule of law matters. It's like, what? There's nothing to see here. I mean, it's 10,000 emails breaking the law, right? All of those emails are illegal, every one of them. It's a violation of law, and she's not going to prosecute it, not one bit. Can't
So
see
that's what,
that. Where? I don't see anything.
yeah, that's what's so frustrating. So we have no Congress, we have no legislative branch, and Edwin, the courts are just scrambling to try to keep up
They
with
are.
what he's doing.
They are. But there
Scrambling.
was a ruling last week in Boston on the case of it had to do with the Marco Rubio taking anybody
Oh yeah,
protesting
yeah,
Gaza,
yeah,
right, and
yeah.
canceling their visa here. And the judge was awesome.
Oh my God, yeah,
Yeah, right. And he not only said, "You look." The First Amendment says Congress shall make no rule abridging freedom of speech. It doesn't say it shall make no rule for immigrants. It says make no rule. I don't know what's not clear about that. I mean, he just went right after him.
I believe
And
a
he
Reagan,
says there have to be consequences. And so he's going to have a sanctions hearing,
I believe a Reagan appointee as well.
a Reagan appointee.
Yeah. That's the and by the way, you mentioned it. All fascists talk about a nation in decline and they blame people for the nation in decline.
Yeah,
And clearly Trump, by the way, that apartment complex on the south side of Chicago, all black people, all brown people.
yeah,
My former friends on the right, this has been, and this is Trump's thing, blaming brown people and black people for the decline of America. It's a classic fascist move.
yeah, it is. And, um, but it's not an American move. I mean, we've
No,
had that strand in our history for sure,
always,
but
always.
we've also always beaten it. And now and not easily either. I mean, one time it took a civil war, which I hope we don't come anywhere near. But we did always, our better angels prevailed. And I just see it. I mean, you know, take Texas. Take
Yeah,
Texas. Texas has has the second largest bunch of Democrats of any state in the country.
yeah,
It does. And it just takes a handful of Republicans to see what's going on in Chicago to say this isn't us. This isn't. And then they have that gerrymander and they lose a few of those seats because now they have to right. It's now they
yeah.
can't win with right. So I just think we have a chance. Well, let me put it differently. I can't imagine a president doing more to lose an election party than Donald Trump has done since he took the oath of office. I can't imagine it. You know what? Because Putin gives him a handbook and he says, "Oh God, this is how I want to run America." Right? Like, I mean, you and I are past running for office, but God, what fun it would be to run against these clowns.
Agreed. And I want to balance your notion that I can't imagine, and the American people are going to rise up. I want to balance that with that guy in the White House is going to do everything he can to fuck with the 2026 elections.
I
And,
totally
and
agree
we
with.
need to be ready for that.
I totally agree with. I mean, he's trying right now to get all the voter rolls, so that
Yes.
right. But in the Democratic states, at least, they're saying no.
Yeah.
And so far, the answer has been no. So the secretaries of Democratic secretaries of state, Democratic attorneys general are doing what they should do. The problem for Democrats isn't so much what we're doing right now. It's the rhetoric from Congress,
Yeah.
where because that's where the press looks. So
Right.
we really would like, and I'm glad. I mean, Schumer and Jeffries are not our best messengers, but right now in this government shutdown, they did okay. They did okay. I mean, not as well as you would like them to do, but they were okay. And okay is an improvement. They they did, and I'm like, okay, we can learn, we can get better.
But it's going to be that way until after 26, when hopefully we retake the House. And then in a presidential campaign, other voices
We'll be out
besides
there louder. I agree.
will be out there.
I mean, I'm all for, I think not having a primary last time hurt us.
Hurt
And,
us.
and having one will let us pick a candidate who best articulates the horror America has at what these guys are doing and a vision for what we want to be together. And I like it's hard, but it's not that hard. We will find a great candidate. Um, And I
I
like
just,
like
I
Marco,
just,
like the two Republicans who might be next, the two who are like battling it out internally for the boss's privilege of being next, uh, JD Vance and Marco Rubio. Are you kidding me? I mean, JD Vance is about as likable as I don't know. I can't think of something as like a rat in my alley. I don't know.
I agree. But again, Donald Trump sits in the White House. So I don't want to hear anybody say anybody can't win. There's talks, Edwin, that Kash Patel wants to run for president. I know people who think Donald Trump Jr. wants
Yeah,
to run.
I'm
There
sure he does.
the
I'm sure he
base
does.
the base, my friend, would go crazy if Tucker Carlson threw his hat in the ring. We're in uncharted waters, my friend.
Yeah,
That's all.
I
And,
mean,
and
the base
by
is
the way,
the base is 30 some percent.
yeah, I know, but I don't want Democrats, my new party, to fall into this trap and nominate in 28, and we're ahead of ourselves, some classic Democratic Party politician. Fuck that. We got to nominate a fighter. We got to nominate somebody who, as you said, is ready to call out what's happening right now
Yeah.
and then bring the country together.
I totally agree. And by the way, not that I mean, this is why I'm not the guy, because high on my agenda is like, I'm sorry, Mar-a-Lago is going to be a museum of fascism. Like,
Yes.
I want to go right after them. And that may not be the way to win, but I want to go right after them and just call them for what they are.
So I said this week that if I run for president in 2028, I'm going to pledge to make my very first act. I'm going to bulldoze that ballroom of his.
Yeah, right?
Right?
I think
Oh my
that's a good
God.
first. I think my first act would be to carry a box of books back into the school that was banned from. You
Oh,
know,
I love that. I love that.
that would be my first act, right? But then, right high on my list after that, maybe I would turn the ballroom into a library of books they banned.
I'd love that.
Yeah,
Edwin, you and I, we could invite Americans to bring their own sledgehammer or whatever. We could
right?
all knock. By the way, I know it's not a big issue, but the fact that he's going to try to get that finished before he's done, that thing is going to desecrate the people's house.
Well, by the way, he's doing it during the shutdown. Like we're shutting down
Yes.
major services, but his
Yes.
ballroom,
Yes.
is exempt. Yeah, they hate us. They actually hate us.
So as we close, our party needs to get their act together because there's an enormous opportunity here. Because as you said, that guy is going way too far. This is not what America is.
Yep.
So Democrats, show me what America is.
That's a good way to end. And by the way, they're showing every day on the streets of Chicago.
I love that. Chicago.
Yep.
By the way, Cubbies, great game last night.
Oh my gosh, great game. Great
Right?
game. Yeah.
Everybody, make sure you subscribe to Edwin Eisendrath and Joe Wald, both of us. God bless.
All right. See you next time.
Thanks, my friend.
Yep. Bye.